At 8 o'clock, we got Cincinnati, who's 3-1, traveling to Texas Tech, who's also 3-1 in our last elimination game of the day. Texas Tech favored by 3 on ESPN2. Brendan Sorsby for the Bearcats has gone 77-118, thrown for 1,055 yards, 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Corey Kiner has had 64 carries for 404 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Xavier Henderson has had 25 catches for 326 yards and 3 touchdowns. Baron Morton for the Red Raiders gone 103-163, thrown for 1,175 yards, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Taj Brooks had 71 carries for 379 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. And Josh Kelly's had 31 catches for 376 yards and 3 touchdowns. Texas Tech and Cincinnati have played once in their entire history. They tied in 1968. It was such a weird thing that it broke the thing that the website I use normally, Wikipedia, to figure out which teams, what's their all-time record against each other. It broke that. It just got an error message. It's because they didn't know how to handle that they've only played once and it was a tie. These two teams are interesting football teams, right? Texas Tech's coming off a big win against Arizona State, a game that I thought they were going to lose, that Arizona State was playing some really good football, and all credit to Texas Tech, they won that game pretty handily. They played really good football. They beat Arizona State team that I think is actually pretty good this year. Cincinnati's also coming off a massive win over Houston. To be fair, Houston's probably the worst team in the entire Big 12 this year, but Cincinnati just absolutely destroyed them. Cincinnati, I think, is a team that could easily be 4-0 if they didn't blow that lead against Pitt, right? And honestly, Pitt's been working some magic. They're undefeated. I don't think both their losses have aged that poorly. I think at the time they didn't look great, but Cincinnati lost a close one to Pitt, and Pitt hasn't lost since, and they look like one of the better teams in the ACC. Texas Tech lost that game against Washington State. Washington State kicked the ever-living crap out of Texas Tech, but Washington State also has not lost since. They're playing some really good football right now. Honestly, both those losses did not age poorly. They actually aged well. This is a big game for both teams, right? Cincinnati's a team that these teams are probably not going to be competing for a Big 12 title this year. In all reality, this is an important game to get to bowl eligibility, try and finish with a 7-8 win season, right? Like, these are big games for programs to building blocks, right? Texas Tech made a bowl game last year, but I think they finished 6-7, so not like a great season for Texas Tech last year. Cincinnati didn't make a bowl game last year, so making a bowl game this year would be significant improvement for the Bearcats. I honestly really like the Bearcats. I understand Texas Tech is home. Weirdly enough, 3-point favorite for Texas Tech, which means that's normally what you get for being at home. They think Vegas is like these teams are probably pretty equal. I like the Bearcats. I think they have a really good offense. I understand Baron Morton has been a beast at quarterback. I think Texas Tech's defense isn't super strong, and I think Cincinnati's been able to play mistake-free football for the most part, and their defense has actually been pretty good. Outside of the collapse against Pitt, they've played some really good football defensively. They've played pretty mistake-free football on offense. I like Cincinnati to go on the road and pull off the upset against Texas Tech.